Joining us now is Micha Kaufman. Hope I did okay with that. Co-founder and CEO of Fiverr, a marketplace of creative and digital services for entrepreneurs and small businesses. First of all, thank you very much for being here.
For having me.
All right, so walk us through. Now, I'm very familiar with the subway ads here in New York City. I think a lot of New Yorkers are. Yep. But walk us through, what does this marketplace for services platform mean?
So as you said very well, it's a marketplace for digital and creative services for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Frankly, it's the marketplace I wish existed when I started my first businesses, because it really addresses every need of a small to medium-sized business and entrepreneurs that need anything from graphic design services to software development to writing to video production and animation to music to anything you can imagine. So basically, you can think about it as like an Amazon for digital services.
Okay, so give us an example, a use case of some of the services. Who's tapping this? Who's coming back to this repeatedly?
Yeah, basically. So I think the actual idea is to make a marketplace for services that is as easy to use as any other e-commerce service. Mm-hmm. So basically, anything you need as a business, if you need someone to design a new logo for your business because you're branding it, it's just a click away. You go into the site, you browse, you might search, you find something you like, and you just click, and it's done.
What's the process of setting the rates? Because I feel like for a lot of these freelancers, there are apps. For instance, I'm thinking some of these beauty apps that we use from time to time here at Cheddar, where it's a fixed rate. You as the artist, you as the freelancer cannot choose your rate. You are given a rate, and it's hard to negotiate that rate with the company. But for the freelancers, for some of these other apps, they have the luxury, the ability to set their own rate. So what is the rate setting process like for what people charge for these specific roles?
So it's completely up to the actual freelancer to set whatever price they're offering, and basically what they need to set up is the scope of their service, the timing of delivery for that service, and the price that they're asking for it. And then for anyone else who comes in, for a customer that comes in, it's just figuring out if the price is right and ordering it.
Right. Is there any kind of vetting process? So I went through the website earlier, and these are just a quick splattering of examples that's there. People say, I will write a 500-word article within 24 hours for $5. So they basically lay out the guidelines. I will do this task to this level of efficiency, I hope, by this amount of money. What's the vetting process on that skill set? Like, can anyone just post and say, hey, I'll take a look at your college essay for $5, that type of thing? Or?
Basically, you can. However, if you're listing something you're not skilled at doing, we have our algorithms that find some of those services, and our community actually reports anything that is not done well. So since we provide complete protection to customers, if you've been ordering something and that wasn't delivered as advertised, you're not going to pay for it. So the vetting is pretty much done by customers themselves.
There are people in the tech industry and community like an Ariana Huffington who are trying to make the working conditions better for people, mostly right now at a lot of these large corporations. So I'm even thinking finance, as we are on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, has been a hot topic, trying to lessen the 100-plus hour work week that some of these corporate employees put in. We know with the move to on-demand, I mean, people are working all sorts of gigs all the time. And so for your organization, I mean, as a marketplace, do you think at all, is there any, I don't believe there is any regulatory rules in place as to how many hours people can work and whether or not you're responsible for this, but is that something you think about at all when you offer up the ability to post a job on the site?
Sure, but I think as we look at the gig economy in general, I think it's a loosely used term that actually describes two things. One is the utilization of assets. So this is, as an example, Uber or Airbnb, where you have an asset that might be a car, which you can utilize, or you have a free bedroom or an apartment that you can utilize. We're in a different segment of the gig economy, which is skill utilization. It's really about talent. And since we're not an hourly base marketplace, it's basically you define what you're going to deliver and how much time it takes for you, and you define how much time you want to work. And I think that this is why it attracts so many millennials to it, because they want the freedom.
They want the job.
Exactly. They want the job, but they want the freedom to work wherever and whenever they want. And so basically, what we need to set up is actually smart algorithms that actually serve liquidity in the right way. So if someone wants just to make a little bit of money and work an hour a day, our algorithms need to understand that and not flood that person with overwork. But if someone wants to make a full-time living out of that, we need to fill that capacity.
And do you have people who are earning full-time living?
Oh, yeah.
In this capacity,
many
with this money. Okay, so let me ask you this then. It would seem to me as if largely your model is contingent on having a large group of people who don't have perhaps a steady day-to-day dependable source of employment, income, perhaps a non-compete clause with a full-time 9-to-5 job or something far more expansive. It seems like you are drawing on this kind of artisan nature of like New York outer borough, like free spirit, I have a ton of talents, I'll give a little bit here and there.
I mean, I think it goes beyond that, but funny you mentioned New York. I mean, having our ads, I think it speaks great to the spirit of New Yorkers, which they're all hustlers, right? They're going to make whatever it takes to succeed. And I think that this platform...
Yeah, can you tell us about the ad plan, the ad campaign? Because they are really identifiable. They really catch your image. Talk to me about what went into them for our viewers who don't know.
So the ads are really speaking about the doer mentality. The people that are the makers, the doers, right? The creators, those entrepreneurs. We view the freelancers as entrepreneurs. It's a new way of working. They're taking a risk. They're fighting for it. They're trying to nurture their skill and grow. And we want to be the platform for them. But beyond the fact that we're a marketplace, we're also a community. We're probably one of the world's largest communities for freelancers. And we fight for this ethos, and we celebrate it, and we celebrate that spirit of fighting for it, of doing anything to succeed. And I think that this is what the ad campaign is all about. We call it Endures with Trust,
right?
Which is the idea of celebrating that mentality.
You've raised $110 million in funding from Square Peg Capital, Bessemer Venture Partners, Accel Partners, among others. How do you expand from here? Is it to up the technology, get more people on the platform? Where are the resources going?
So what's really great about our industry is that when you look at the industry, and let's take the U.S. is because it's like a third or a quarter of the global economy. 34% of the American workforce are freelancers. By 2020, it's going to be 40%. It's over $1 trillion market in the U.S. alone. But here's the most important piece of data. When you look at how much 3%. When you think about that, 95,
right.
Which is amazing. You see a market where the majority is offline, but it's starting to go online.
Right.
And companies like ours, which are doing the same play like Amazon did in 1995, are going to go up with that curve.
Right.
So there's huge potential in doing that. Obviously, the company is growing super fast. I mean, as a private company, we don't share exact data. However, I can share a few pieces of data that talk about scale. We already processed over 30 million transactions on the marketplace. Actually, there's a new transaction being done every 3.5 seconds. So it's well over 1 million transactions every month.
Wow.
You have, 1 million brands were created on Fiverr just in 2016, 5 million websites. It's growing really, really fast.
Okay.
And, sorry.
Stick with us. You're a big, busy time entrepreneur, right? I mean, based on everything that you just said. So we do have a few more questions for you in our next segment, What Keeps You Going, which is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, where we feature the habits of fast-paced and high-energy entrepreneurs like yourself and executives who are always on the go. So the first question is, what keeps you sane while you're on the go?
Drinking water, exercising, meditating, but seriously, I think the number one thing is having a sense of purpose.
Sense of
purpose.
Oh, gotcha.
It's doing something that you feel great value. And I mean, Fiverr is generating jobs for hundreds and thousands of people, and what can be more purpose than that? So I think that this keeps me sane. I mean, remembering that we're doing good for a huge community of people.
Yeah, any specific secrets to either your own individual success or part of the contributing kind of core values of your overall business culture, if you will?
I mean, I think we all know that there's no silver bullet, but what I would say is, one is do things that you're passionate about. Being a CEO of a company or an entrepreneur is tough. If you're doing something you're not passionate about, it's 10 times tougher. So I would pick that. The second thing is probably surround yourself by smart and curious people, because they provoke you to think about new ideas, which is really important. And probably the third one is, if I were an entrepreneur starting a company right now, when we see companies that have done disruption in the past 10 years, taxi, you click on a button. So that helps, big data, utilization of liquidity in the right way. So this is probably what I would pick if I would start a company right now.
Water, meditation, exercise. What about tech? What tech keeps you organized so that you can manage all this?
Well, the lowest part of tech is probably my assistant, which really helps. But if we're focusing on tech, it's probably, I use a software called SaneBox, which actually go through my inbox and prioritize the hundreds of emails I get every day to draw my attention to things that I need to take over right now and things that I need to do later.
Yes, I'm looking at, 7,000 unread emails right now, so that's a good one.
Good.
Should use it.
I always like asking entrepreneurs this question. In your personal time, in your spare time, if you have any at all, anything that you regularly read, specific TV shows or movie genres that you're drawn to that might actually help influence your decision making day to day?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's specific. I read a ton of different books. Some of them are business. Some of them are just fiction.
Sure.
Because they
Harry Potter.
Create your.
They help you imagine things.
Exactly. And then if I have a little bit of time, TV shows, but nothing in specific.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. It's great to have you.